Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the new Reynolds Review. I'm Marcos.
I'm Kaylee. Sorry.
Aren't you supposed to be in Europe?
We'll talk about that next episode.
Anyways, in this episode we'll be talking about our fine arts tour to New York City.
Which will include video footage from the sites around New York and interviews.
Next, we have the return of Take Two, a feature that reviews sequels to popular movies.
Then we'll have the Reynolds Marching Band, who are performing in the Victoria Day Parade for the 49th year in a row. Enjoy!
And yeah, there was a lot of people, which kind of surprised me. Like everywhere we went, there was always people, and there's always a lot of people.
I think it was just like the proximity of everything, like because we were staying like a few blocks away from the Empire State Building, which was like a sort of a shock to me because like I'd only ever seen it in movies, and it was right there. It was like in our neighborhood from where we were staying. So it was really interesting to just like be there and be next to all of these famous things that I've never really seen before, but it's there.
Like on the first day in Times Square, like at the first night on the bus ride, that was my favorite part, I think.
We were so pumped. We found a really brightly lit Tim Hortons sign. We got excited. Yeah, I sent you the picture.
It's crazy, but a good crazy. It's like everyone's excited to be there, and everyone has, even if it's not like excited energy, it's like intense energy. You know, they're all like moving fast and moving places and loud. I liked it. It was really cool.
There are like a lot of people that are kind of like trying to like sell you things too, which is kind of like stressful. But like just seeing like so many people in the same area, like it's crazy because like compared to Victoria, like downtown, there's like barely anybody there. But then like in Times Square, it's like the sidewalks are like so packed, like you can barely like walk forwards, like you can barely take like a few steps. But like that's just really cool.
Every time we left a Broadway show, it caught me off guard how bright it was, because I'm like, it's like 10 o'clock at night, and I'd see it, and I'd be like...
And it looks like daytime.
It does, yeah.
The Empire State Building was not what I was expecting at all.
Talk about that, Kayla.
I don't know. I watch like TV all the time, so I thought it would be like something a bit different, but like, I don't know.
What was the day like? Like, was it a cloudy day? Was it a nice day?
It was beautiful.
It was really nice, which is I think where it was different, because I'm so used to seeing like at night, like.
Yeah, it's like the like.
So all the lights were up and
It's
whatever.
the token
so
for like sad. like people go up there to like
be sad.
sulk.
Yeah, and be alone on Valentine's Day.
It was really interesting. Like as soon as you stepped inside it, like you could tell how like amazingly elegant and beautifully crafted it was. It was just. It looked on the outside, and then there was like a Walgreens right next to it, and it was like at the base of the building there was a Walgreens, and I'm like, this can't be it. And then we walked in, and there was the big sign with the building, and it's like beautifully gold ceilings, and like there were actually red velvet ropes and people dressed up in uniforms like hotel bellboy uniforms.
Yeah, exactly.
I was not ready for it. I was expecting it to be amazing, of course, and it was. But it was more than I expected. You know?
Yeah.
It was
like the elevators even.
Yeah.
They were gorgeous. Every little detail of the building had either something about the Empire State Building or something was fancy. Like there was mail chutes that were just so ornate, and then actually getting up there and seeing the view and being that high up. Like I'm afraid of heights, but
you didn't feel
like
it, right?
I wasn't afraid of heights up there. Like I was just so excited to be up so high. Like it kind of feels like you're in another world, so you don't even feel. It's almost like being up in an airplane kind of heights. Like it doesn't.
Like low flying airplane.
Yeah, Exactly. So it was really beautiful, and there was a hallway that was just like all mirrors on one side and then windows on the other. Best lighting ever, man. Like there were some intense selfies taken in that hallway.
There was a carousel in Battery Park with like fish and stuff, and it was a lot of fun to ride. I love rides, and it was kind of hilarious though because there was like a lineup of like little toddlers and stuff, and then like a group of teenagers.
Trip was really nice because like you got to go on the ferry, and then when you left Battery Park on the ferry, you could see kind of like the main part of New York with all the huge buildings, and it was like a really nice view. And then like on like the other side, you could see like the Statue of Liberty and like the little islands, and like I think like the Brooklyn Bridge and like stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, Ellis Island, you're going up to it and you see it and you're like, oh my god, is this like some fancy boarding school or something?
Yeah.
Like it's beautiful. And the brick buildings are gorgeous. And the main building that I went to with Paige, Ostia, and Lara had these beautiful half windows. And I think we ended up spending more time by the windows than actually anything else. But we were taking some photos in front of them because Ostia and Paige are dancers. And I actually got one of my photos reposted by the official Ellis Island Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, I was so, like, I was really pumped about it. Because it's such a beautiful place, and it's just, it frames, every photo I took in or on Ellis Island was gorgeous.
Oh,
like,
it was such a
everything.
gorgeous
It
place.
was gorgeous.
Ellis Island was really beautiful.
It was so nice. Yeah, we went there and my group was actually super tired, so we like went through the museum. We didn't really like look at anything. We did, but like not crazy. And then we just went and hung out, and it was so nice to just be able to like hang out there, just to be there. It was really nice to just relax and be on Ellis Island.
Me and Kayla like separated, and I went and went to the museum with like Aladdin and all of them, and it's really pretty because they talk about immigration, like what the beacon of Ellis Island is, and then they talked about modern immigration. They talked about the difficulty in that, and it was really cool because none of my family like immigrated to Ellis Island, but I have family who moved from different places, so it's really cool to have a museum that depicts that struggle and like depicts what the life is like of an immigrant.
It was amazing. It was gorgeous. Everything about it was just like, I ate food, like it was normal food, like nothing special, right?
Yeah.
For me anyway. But just sitting there and seeing everything happening and everyone moving, going, and everyone had a place to be. Like they wouldn't just walk for fun. They would walk and they had a purpose.
So yeah, Alvin Ailey was really cool. It's like a really famous dance school. So we met this guy, and he like took us on a tour around it, and he was really nice, and that was really cool. And we actually got to like sit in on a class, and they were like so talented. It was crazy. And then we got to do our own little workshop, and that was probably kind of embarrassing for some people, but it was like really cool to like I don't know, experience at all. Even if you weren't a dancer, it was still really fun. So.
We were just surrounded by these beautiful dancers. Every one of them is like the height of perfection. I probably didn't even appreciate it enough because I don't know much about dance, but it was gorgeous.
So
even their steps, like they would just walk across the stage and you could just see,
you could
like,
tell like their elegance and their perfection, and like everyone was so beautiful. Everyone was so gorgeous. It was like unbelievable. I was like surrounded by goddesses.
Yes.
It was beautiful, and there were like they had live percussion there. They did live percussion, like
Live
in
music for the classes.
For the classes, because when they were doing modern dance, they had like drum rhythms, like African drum rhythms and stuff like that. And there was this one girl who not only lined up like the beginnings and ends of her steps with beats, but syncopated her dance moves in between. And I couldn't handle it. I was just, this is too beautiful.
Alvin Ailey.
It was so nice. It was actually, I'm not a dancer, I can't dance at all.
Me
but it was
neither.
so nice. And the person who was showing us around, he had such a nice
D'Angelo.
energy. He had such a nice energy, so it was so nice to just be able to be like, oh. And like coming from like someone who isn't a dancer, like you don't really care to walk around through like a dance school, but it was so nice to be able to walk around and watch all these people like do what they're passionate about.
I don't think there's like anything that I appreciate more than dance, honestly.
It's so, yeah.
It's so passionate.
And, yes.
And to see, because we got to sit into a class, and that was absolutely breathtaking because you see these students and they're older than us, obviously, but they have this beautiful youth to them and they're also passionate.
Yeah, they know what their passions are and they're
that's,
going for it.
That's
really,
what you see in every single thing they do. You just see that, oh, like, they're born for this, they're meant for this, and that's a weird thing to be able to see because, yeah, there's a lot of passionate people in Victoria, but there's not people who wear it on their sleeve. There's not people that you see walking every day, and you're like, oh, they know what they're doing.
Came up and we finally saw Coney Island. I just saw like Ferris wheels and roller coasters and I was so excited. And I honestly had a lot of fun. Like, I don't know, it was like, I went on like a few of the roller coasters and stuff and like the boardwalk was so nice. It was like, I loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was one of my favorite parts of the trip.
I was really, really happy to see so much artwork everywhere, and the fact that they were each donated by different countries was a really big thing for me. And you could just see a bit of every country in it, and they all had their own style, and the artists really captured just like all the same message, but presented it in ways that were just equally effective but different. So I really loved it.
My favorite part of the UN was how every room had not been renovated since they were donated, but they were so pristine and clean. It was like walking into like a 1970s like movie studio room, and it was like completely pristine. I was like, whoa, like I've seen black and white movies of like a president giving a speech in like a 1960s Oval Office or whatever, and I'm like, oh, it would totally look different than it does there. But no, it was just that in color, and it was amazing.
It was one of the more like calming places of New York, just because you don't find many of those. And yeah, it was one of the beautiful parts of it, you know, because it was a lot of nature, a lot of...
Yeah. Everywhere we went, there was people playing music, and it was all like beautiful, just kind of calm, relaxing music, you know, like just, it was wonderful.
Everyone was kind of in like a good mood. It was like we had settled down. We were walking to a place that we all knew so much about. We've seen in so many movies, so many shows. And then we saw like, you know, Adora, of course Adora. We saw two guys sitting there playing the guitar, and they call her over, right? They're like, hey, Adora, you're pretty, come over here.
True. Is that what happened? Yeah.
They were like, what did they say? They said, oh, you look exactly like a girl that went to my school. Come, I'll show you a photo of her. And then she came over. But no, and we got her to request a song, and all of us just went over to there and we sang.
We all
together.
sang.
It was.
And then they were so overwhelmed by like how many of us showed up, and they were like, "Oh my God, this has never happened to us. Can we please take a group photo?"
Yeah, and people were like videotaping them while they were singing.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And we went off adventuring back the way we had first come into the park, and then we went off onto a path that led us actually to this lagoon, which is in The Catcher in the Rye, which is a book that I read before I went on a trip and I was doing a project for.
Aladdin, I was dreading it because I was like, are they going to make it good? Like, what are they going to do for the magic carpet scene? And I was blown away. Like, I was more than happy with what they did.
One thing that really kind of caught me off guard was just how different all the musicals were. Like, an American in Paris was a very, like, it was a very love story, and it was very much, like, very visual heavy, lots of dancing, and then it was, you know, because it takes place, like, in, like, slightly older times, and then On Your Feet was very energetic. It was really like, I felt like I was at a concert, you know? It was like really exciting. And then like Aladdin was just really magical, and like you got really sucked into like the story and the costumes, and everything was really beautiful. And so it was like, it's just like, you always think musical theater sort of as like a very straightforward type of like musical, but then like we saw some very, very different shows.
The 9/11 Memorial Center had such a powerful energy to it. It was such a weird experience to go there, and because we hear about it in Canada, it affected a lot of people in Canada, but
To be there,
it was really weird to see the names engraved on the fountain.
the fountain, first of all, was so beautiful. It was really beautiful. And then we went in, and it was like, when you first, there's this one part that we went through, and it was like, walking through it was like, I got like the feeling it was supposed to be like anxiety and panic, because there were these walls everywhere, and they were projecting pictures of people's reactions to what was going on. And then you would hear, it would like one person talking about it, just like a sentence, like, oh, it was so blah, 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 blah. And then another person, and it would project, and you could hear all of them. But when you walked through, you would just hear specific ones, and if you walked fast enough, it would be like boom, 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 boom.
I
boom,
cried.
Boom. Yeah, I did too.
I cried.
It got to the point where, because like sometimes you can relate to what people are saying. Like you can think, like I have 3 older brothers. There was this little girl talking about how she lost her brother, and I was just like, oh my God, like I can relate to that. That would be so sad. That would
The
be
images were
heartbreaking.
really powerful too, to associate those two things, because it was really somber audio. The way they were talking, it was really sad, and then the images were. It was really upsetting, but it was like tragically beautiful, because there was so much to it, because someone captured the emotion, because that affected a lot of people, new people, and yeah, I think that's the beauty of what they did with the Memorial Center, because they personalized it.
Hey, welcome back to Take Two, where we review films that are sequels.
Yeah. Today we're reviewing Speed 2, alternatively titled Cruise Control, or my personal favorite title, The Boat That Couldn't Slow Down.
Yeah.
The sequel, The Bus That Couldn't Slow Down.
Yeah, Speed 1, you had like Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock on a bus. They can't slow down or it blows up. On a boat. Otherwise, it's kind of the same premise. So the villain, his plan is so Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, they're on the ship.
It's
ship.
not Keanu Reeves, actually.
Is it?
No, it's not Keanu Reeves. It's Jason Patrick. No, Keanu Reeves is too good for Speed 2. Willem Dafoe, okay, so he steals all the diamonds and then he gets away, right? Basically, it just cuts back every once in a while to him just like with Sandra Bullock who's like tied there.
Yeah.
It was for like 20 solid minutes. You basically just didn't see them.
Yeah.
And then they just come back for the last like half hour of the movie.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I love how he's flying the plane, and then Sandra Bullock gets like rescued, like or whatever. And he's like still like, and he's like, flying over the oil tanker, and then he hits the pole and he just stops somehow.
Yeah.
Like all of the velocity from the plane is just gone.
He doesn't like bend it at all.
It's just like every time the classic bad guy thing of like every time something goes like wrong for him, he's just like, like, man, this guy has such a positive attitude, you know?
Yeah.
It's like he just crashed a plane into an oil tanker. He's laughing. What a good guy.
You remember that scene where the villain's up in the bridge and he's like pretending to be drunk? And he's like, sir, can we show you to your rooms? And he's like, woo! And he like reaches over the control panel and he's like, beep boop, beep boop. And he's like, don't touch that. And he's like flipped all the switches. And it's like integral to his plan. And they don't flip it back, I guess.
This is the best movie I've ever seen about a boat.
Yeah, it was.
Except for the Poseidon Adventure and the remake of the Poseidon Adventure.
Titanic.
Or Titanic, yeah.
Or Madagascar, that had a boat.
Madagascar had a boat in it, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of movies had boats in it that were better than this one.
You're right. I go back on my 4 out of 4 rating.
Yeah.
I give it a like maybe 1.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1.5 as well. Speed 2, not a great movie. We'll be back with another movie that's probably also not great.
Well, it's a fun time, actually. I really like it. It's, of course, you have to get up super early, but yeah, you get to meet a whole bunch of people, and we have a lot of fun after the parade is over, and we get to go on scavenger hunts and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a very busy time in the band universe, but it is definitely one of the highlights of the year, I think.
Lets you play along with your friends and different songs that you like to play, and you get to, in the end, march in the parade, and you get to show off what you've been working hard to do, and it's a lot of fun, actually.
Show.
Wait, no, I have to grab my New York shirt.
Thank you for watching.